So William is going to ask a question about the mentality change that we were talking about, whether it's necessary, whether it's feasible. Please.
Right. My name is William Tots. I work for Transport and Environment, which is a sustainable transport group, and we try to improve the EU's transport policies, try to make them more sustainable, and I'm working on the vehicle side of it. So yeah, for our future mobility solutions, we to a very large extent depend on technological solutions. If cars pollute too much, we'll give them a filter. If we have problems with traffic safety, we'll try to make the cars safer. And there's technological solutions for all sorts of things. And I think the electric car, to a large extent, symbolizes this idea that technology will solve it. But in my day-to-day work, I also encounter the limits of that approach. I mean, you can't electrify trucks, you can't electrify planes. There's a limit to what you can do with technology, at least at this point. So obviously the question is, are there other things that we need to explore? Do we need to change the mentality of people? Do we need to change the way our economy works? The just-in-time principle, etc. Is that something that we also should be looking at? It's a question.
It's a very interesting question. I have a statement that I want to also know whether you agree with, but before we go to that, I just have to say it from a Volvo Group perspective that there is a 100% electric truck, and that fully electric trucks are possible certainly for garbage collection and for city deliveries. But that technicality being cleared, then I have a statement that builds on your question. Technology can solve all of humanity's transport problems. Agree or not?
I do not agree at all.
No.
Well, no.
No.
Yeah, no.
A resounding no. And I was talking to an engineer the other day, and engineers are usually very, very optimistic, and they say, yes, we can do it. We have problems, and we will develop technology, and it will solve the issue. So wow, what's this? No, what needs to happen then? Is it because more needs to be added, or?
Well, if we look at the safety aspect, I mean, I'm looking at these things from a road safety perspective. Then again, we need safe vehicles. Yes, we need safe infrastructure, and we need safe road users. And how we you can influence by technology certain attitudes and certain behavior, I guess. But still, I mean, how are you gonna control that? How are you gonna control humans? 95% of all road crashes happen due to human error. How are you gonna? You can maybe, I mean, you can have during the crash you can invent seat belts, which I believe a Volvo invented the 3-point, and you can get all kind of technology, but still there are still too many human factors. We just not flawless. I wish we were technology, matter from that.
Well, maybe the technological answer, speculating, is then you get rid of the human driver.
Yes, well, maybe, yeah. Well, William, what do you think?
No, I think that's probably one of the things that car manufacturers are looking at. I was driving, not myself, but driving with a guy who has a big BMW, which if it comes too close to another car, it just starts braking itself.
Yeah.
It's very smart, and I think that's probably one of the future solutions that manufacturers will offer.
But that's not going to happen right now in low minimum countries.
No,
I mean,
absolutely not.
We're talking. This is really a European, North
Yeah.
American discussion we had. We're talking about this, and I mean, in Africa, these things are miles, years away before we have implemented this.
But that's another aspect of this technology question. I mean, in Europe we're going to have cars that are 40-50% cleaner in the next 10 years. Yeah. But obviously that's a solution that you can't just export to other parts of the world, not immediately. And well, we will need to reduce the emissions if you want to fight climate change, and we'll need to do it in the coming 20-30 years. So.
Yeah, and that will never solve the problem of traffic. So.
No.
Yeah. No. And also the technology by itself cannot work without the human part of it. So I mean, you can have the technology, but if there is nobody willing to use it, it's pointless. So that's why you really have. Okay, I think we are very well developed in technology solutions for many things, ITS, for smart mobility, traffic management, everything. But if there is nobody willing to use it, there's no point. It's not going to work. So you really need a change of
Willing
mentality.
to use it in what sense?
In the sense of that, for example, you have public transportation. You don't have to go by car. But if you want to go by car, it's not because you don't have technology by going without a car. It's because you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a change of mentality, you
Mhm.
know, of the way you want to use what you have available. It's a choice in the end, you know.
Okay, an interesting point indeed. So to wrap it up then, from all of you, I have another question, and this you could have, like, I don't know, 2 minutes if you want, 1 or 2 minutes each, maybe 1.5. Because that really is the thing. How can you change people's mindsets? Well, you're all more or less experts in what you do in your very defined fields of mobility issues. And you have visions that can maybe improve people's lives or certainly change people's lives. But often I imagine the people who will be benefited from these changes don't realize themselves what could be, you know, what your vision is. So how do you, or how can you change people's minds?
Yeah, first of all, I think it's about which is the concept of sustainability that we have, that sometimes is sold as something abstract that you have to like be more sustainable for the future generations. But actually, we have to be aware that making like a behavior change to make your life more sustainable is making your quality of life higher now. And I'm trying to do in Spain, in my case, is to implement a program of walking bus scams for children. And our assumption is that the problem is like when children drive to school and they are stuck at home and in the private car, when they start owning a car, they have risky behavior because of that, because they have been trapped in the private scam and all those things. And if we start to educate them to behave in the street and go by walk to school, that would have really great impact in the midterm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, changing your question.
How do
about
you explain your
change
vision? How do
human
you
behavior?
change mentalities?
That's very, very complex, changing human behavior, and we all probably know this. And I think there's not one solution to that. It's a cocktail of all kinds of things, and there are many theories on human behavior change. One of them is from Ashbin Fishbein, I think, who said, well, and I try to simplify, I probably don't justify the theory here, but they're saying, for example, for helmet use, first of all, you need to influence the attitude to a certain behavior. So you would need to explain and make young people, for example, aware that a helmet can save your life. You're changing their attitudes and convincing them about the need of a helmet. Secondly, the social norm. What is the social norm? What do your friends think about wearing a helmet? If they all think it's absolutely stupid and you look ridiculous with wearing a helmet, you're not going to wear a helmet probably, unless your attitude is, so that's one element as well. What do your friends think? And the third element is perceived behavior control, which is, can I afford a helmet? And where, is the shop nearby, or do I need to travel 60 kilometers to get a decent helmet? So also, will I get away with it if I don't wear my helmet? Will there be a policeman? Mm-hmm. So, and these things are influencing the intention of a certain behavior. Mm-hmm. And it's not even, the real behavior is not, how do you say it? It's the intention of someone going to be, how he's going to behave. For example, if I want to wear a helmet, if my friends think it's cool to wear a helmet, and there is a policeman on the street, still, if I forgot my helmet at home, I'm not going to wear it. So I have the intention to do it, but do I really do it? Do I still get on my bike, my moped, yes or no? So what I'm trying to say is change behavior is really complex, and it has many elements. We need to work on all these elements, and then we'll definitely can change it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's difficult, but I think it will start with us. We should start with our kids. We should start because in my example, for example, in Colombia, it's not cool taking public transport. So of course, the poor people have to take public transport, but the rich people have car. So if you are used to go to your parents take you to the school by car, then you don't know how to take buses. So then they grow up and they don't know. So they are saving
Yeah.
money to buy a car.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
we need
from
to
your house.
we need to
it's
lead
from
by
you.
example.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I guess you get to a point in which it's just not doable anymore. So you have if you're talking about Latin America, then you have the point of Mexico City that then everybody wants to drive, and in the 60s it's a nice place, and then you get to 1995, and then you have to wake up at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, of course.
To
And
get
it
to a
will
place.
take 2 hours to be in your work.
But now they are introducing BRT systems and trying to change the issues. But this requires, I guess, cooperation with other people. So
But it's also from the house, because there's people in Bogota that they don't know how to take Transmilenio because it's cool to have a car. So it continues the traffic with cars.
and
it's from us.
and how does this? Have you seen? Is there a shift going on? How is this shift coming about? And
Yeah, the thing is that, okay, for now there's people that's taking 2 hours to get to work, but in Transmilenio you take 20 minutes. So there's people that they're already thinking, okay, what is better? But it's changing the mind of also the young people. It's cooler to spend less time on the public transport and then go to the party and stay more time with your friends than staying in your car on a jump.
But how do you transmit this vision then?
The points are really true. I really agree with everything. And maybe one way is involving the young people in the transportation planning, let's say. Because maybe if they feel part of it, they have the ownership of it, they can also start using and say, no, I participated in that, So, because right now I think there is a very big gap. I mean, you use public transportation because you cannot use car. Then when you are able to use car, you start using car. And then maybe you can also provide good quality information and easy to understand. Because young people don't have the same idea of things that we have. So if we see a map, maybe for us it's easy, for them it's not. So this approach of how to teach young people how to use the transportation can be also an idea. And maybe you can trainings or for, I don't know, courses that are more youth-friendly, let's say. And if they change this perspective of what is public transportation or when you should use, I'm not saying you have to use all the time, but when you know that you can use it, maybe when you are a young adult, you can also start using public transportation because it's a good idea.
Right, well,
To round it up,
yeah, to round it up, I think I agree with many of the things that you say. I think public awareness and enforcement, etc., that's all very important. I think I would just like to add one. I think from my perspective, I think pricing is extremely important. I mean, I think people and businesses react to how much things cost. If you let people pay per kilometer they drive, they will be more careful about how many kilometers they drive. If you want to avoid trucks or polluting cars coming into the city, well, tax them more. You have these pollution schemes in London, in Stockholm. That's effective. And the same goes the other way around. If you want to encourage people to come into the city with EVs or with safer cars, whatever, then well, give them a tax incentive. And I think that is something that you need to complement the public awareness approach. I think it's as you say, it's a mix of lots of policies. You obviously need better technology, and it's going to get us a long way. But you will also need to complement it with all sorts of other things, like public awareness and like pricing.
Okay, and the last question that I want to ask to you all, but then we don't have time to go into the details, so it's just like a yes or no. Do you see a generational difference in terms of the vision that you have for the future of mobility and that of your older colleagues?
I want to think so.
Yes?
My colleagues are younger than me, so no.
No. And you're on the same page as them?
I
You
hope
think?
so. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
No, I think I do see a difference with different generations, not necessarily with my colleagues. They tend to think the same way as I do.
Yeah, exactly.
I also do see the difference.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so I want to thank you very much because it's been an excellent discussion, a lot of really great comments. And on that note, I want to wish you all very good luck pushing your youth vision of the future of mobility. Thanks.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.